Hey folks, this is Vint with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and I wanted to take a time out today to talk about a relatively sensitive subject. One that is serious, one that has come up as of late as the result of a mass shooting. And this is a topic that has come up off and on over the past several years. This isn't the first time that someone, namely the media and other politicians, have blamed violent video games for the reason of these mass shootings. And I wanted to address that because I think priorities are a bit screwed up. For example, Walmart recently pulled all of their video game posters or violent video game posters, something, from their stores, yet are continuing to sell guns. Okay, so first and foremost, we have to ask the question, can violent video games drive a person to be violent? And I think that is a question that has yet to be answered. Because if it were answered, we still wouldn't be talking about it, okay? I think it's important to note that we as human beings are all different, okay? We all have different body chemistries, for example. Some medications that work on one person may not work on someone else. We each have unique behaviors. We each have different opinions and viewpoints. So basically, we're kind of all special, right? So I guess the point that I'm trying to get there is there's no definitive, sure way that violent video games can affect people as a whole. Because everyone is different. Everyone receives input on different levels. They interpret this input in different ways. So some people can play violent video games, and in their head they know, this is just a game, this is not real life, and I'm not going to then pull out an AK-47 and gun people down. Then there are other people that are sort of out of touch with reality and play these violent video games and think it's okay to do that in real life. So I think that's part of the problem here, is that politicians and the media and everyone that are making these decisions are looking at the laws as a whole that affects everyone, as opposed to the individuals, because the individuals, again, receive input in different ways. I personally know plenty of people that own guns and have not shot up people. They're responsible gun owners. They attend classes. They teach people responsibly, all that jazz. And so to violate the rights of people that are responsible with said guns, to violate their rights because someone else was irresponsible, I think that is unfair. So I think that that's the whole argument here. It's not... There are a lot of people, and rightly so, that are upset, that are going, hey, this person over here is messed up. They did what they did. Why should that affect me? And because I didn't do anything wrong. And these lawmakers and the people in power are trying to enact laws that affect everyone. And personally, I think that's unfair. Like I said, everyone's different. Everyone's mature on different levels. So to try to solve this problem on a grand scale by enacting laws that affect everyone, I think is the wrong approach. Okay? Now, I think that video games are doing something right. There's something called the ESRB, which will put ratings on these video games. Some might say mature, and on these descriptors, things might say like blood or violent or sexual themes or language, whatever. So I think that's a good idea, and the reason being, there are some parents out there that haven't played video games, and it'll give them a way to check up on their kid. If Johnny goes to their non-video game parent and says, Daddy, I want to buy this game, Daddy can look at the box and go, you know what, this rating system here says that this is mature, 17 plus. I don't think this is the game for you. That, I think, is responsible. I wholeheartedly agree with a rating system like that. Movies have a similar rating system, PG, PG-13, R. So, as a video game dad, I wholeheartedly agree that there should be ways to educate parents on these video games and what is in each one so that they can make responsible decisions. The sad truth is, not every parent watches their kid like a hawk in that regard. A lot of times, parents may sit their kid in front of a TV or in front of a video game system and go, here, go play, leave me alone so I can do something and relax, and because I'm just tired and I can't deal with it right now. That's the sad, unfortunate truth of reality as of right now. So if I could just switch gears for a minute, I'd like to also point out that shootings and violence of any kind have occurred long before violent video games were a thing. It's true that playing video games will increase one's adrenaline. Like if I'm playing an intense match of, I don't know, Call of Duty or Assassin's Creed, whatever, my heart gets pumping, I'm enjoying myself, I feel the rush of completing a level or getting that kill, whatever the case is. But I have to ask the question, were violent video games around during the Holy Wars? Did Jack the Ripper do what he did because he lost a match in Call of Duty? No, he didn't. So, and how many stupid YouTube videos exist out there where kids got serious injuries imitating WWE or WWF stars that they've seen on television? So, to put the blame solely on video games is stupid. Is it possible that they contribute to adrenaline and violence and certain ways of thinking? Yes. But to solely blame them? No. Video games are a form of entertainment, okay? And entertainment is a broad topic. That includes things like books, movies, lots of different forms of media. Video games is just one small part of the entertainment industry as a whole. So to sit there and say that Johnny can play a video game and become violent, but then watch Rambo, just sit there and watch TV and not become violent, I don't think that that's correct. I think that yes, violent video games could contribute to certain behaviors in immature people, but by that same token, other forms of entertainment that would easily sway said individual should also be moderated. So this comes down to proper parenting, in my opinion. On the terms of kids, okay, there's two different levels here. There's kids and there's adults. As kids, it's up to the parents to teach the kids, to watch them, to moderate them, to make sure that what they're playing is safe, and for the parents to use their best judgment. If they see Johnny able to play a video game and then separate fantasy from reality and take a mature approach with it, then great. That's wonderful. But if Johnny were to play Left 4 Dead, go to school during recess and say, let's play a game where you're the zombies and I'm going to shoot you and stab you and so on. That's where the parents need to step in and say, you know what? You're not mature enough to separate fantasy from reality. You shouldn't be playing this game no more until you grow up and learn the difference between the two. So as parents, it's up to us to teach kids on Again, fantasy versus reality, that we have to teach them that people are responsible for their own actions, that, yeah. And that's just one side of it. Unfortunately, not all of us are kids. There are a lot of adults out there that also don't know how to separate fantasy versus reality, and their parents, they're not around to teach these people. So what's the problem there? How do we deal with that? I don't have all the answers, but I will say that violent video games isn't the cause. It's a catalyst, but it's not the cause. I think the issue here is mental health. And I think that, again, mental health is a state of mind, how you think, how mature you are, how you can separate reality versus fantasy. And if an adult doesn't have these things, if their morality is all jacked up, then when they play these violent video games, they may make a connection to the real world and think, I can do that there too. It's going to be great. That's a mental health issue. I think that the way that United States has gone, and I can speak from personal experience, on the physical side of things. I've seen a doctor. I've tried seeing many specialists and doctors for my conditions that I have, and I still don't have any answers. Healthcare in this system, the healthcare system in this country is just completely jacked up. I've spent thousands of dollars trying to find answers to my medical problems, and I still don't have an answer. I've been to many specialists, and one specialist told me, a rheumatologist said, that I am too young to have any of those issues and that I need to go home and relax and to forget about it. This is a specialist that I've waited 3 months to see. When traditional medicine didn't work, I went to private doctors that I had to pay out of pocket for, and they're the ones that promote spiritual awareness, and there's these special light beds that you can lay in to heal your body of whatever. Cuckoo, if you ask me. Some of it is based on science, others not so much. My point is, people are turning to these people because traditional science and medicine in this country is failing them. So if that is possible on the physical side of things, then it's also possible on the mental side of things. People that have issues in this country are unable to get the help that they need. They are unable to... They're unable to safely get the help that they need. They're afraid that if they say anything, they're going to be locked up, 402'd, and whatever. And it's a shame. It's a real shame. So this whole violent video game being the reason why gun violence is the way it is in this country, it's... This is a prime example of finger pointing, when the real issue here is personal. It's people afraid to look in a mirror and consider the idea that they are not mature enough, or whatever the case is, to handle violent video games. We would rather point the finger at something else than to admit that we can't. We just don't have the maturity to handle it, or the mentality to handle it, or the to be adult and to be mature enough to handle it. And yeah, I think that this whole finger pointing, this whole idea that violent video games are the cause, is wrong. If anything, if we are going to limit, if we are, again, I say that violent video games are a catalyst, a possible catalyst, but so are other forms of entertainment. That would be, again, movies, violent movies, and other forms of boxing, wrestling, any form of entertainment that involves violence needs to be, I don't want to say regulated, but again, it's up to the parents to teach their kids what is right and what is wrong, and to keep an eye on their kids to make sure that they're not going out into the world and repeating this behavior. And yes, there may not be a whole lot we can do about the adults in the here and now, because they've already grown up that way, and mental health help and in this country is just, it's not improving no matter what I say anytime soon. All we can really do is educate our kids and make sure that their generation grows up and tries to grow up in a way that I want to say it is more teach them so that they grow up more aware of their surroundings, of what is right and what is wrong. So that's how I feel about this. I'm sick and tired of the media saying ban violent video games, regulate violent video games, they're the cause, they're evil. It's possible that they do contribute, but they're not solely the cause. If you're going to ban one form of violent entertainment, then you need to ban them all. And I don't see that happening anytime soon. Just because. So, yeah, it just comes down to proper parenting and to do the best you can to stay informed of what your kids are doing, to keep an eye on them. If you see behavior that is questionable, put your foot down. Take their video games away. I've had to do that several times to Vinny because of various behavior issues. And I still do it. He's 18. If I don't like the words that come out of his mouth when I hear him on Twitch or whatever, I shut his internet off. He hates me for it, but I do it because I need to educate him, to let him know that his words and his actions have consequences. And while it may not affect a whole lot in the short term, there's going to come a point where in the real world, he's going to say something that he's used to saying on the internet. He's going to say it to someone in real life, and they may pull a gun on him and shoot him. So, yeah, proper parenting. I think that is going to go a long way into helping to solve some of the gun issues that we have in today's society. And the other element, the other component to that is medical/mental awareness and the availability of mental help. And unfortunately, the way society is, it's not there. It's just not there. And until those things change, things are going to continue to be the way they be, and it's extremely unfortunate. And I guess my heart goes out to all of the victims and all of their families, because we shouldn't have to live this way. All right, well, that's as serious as I'm going to get today. If you guys haven't already subscribed to me on Twitch and YouTube, if you have any comments, feel free to leave them in the comments below. This is Vince. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.